Hi, it's Jo from Minerva. Today we're going to do a fitting tutorial for a full bicep adjustment. If you tried patterns in the past and you're getting a really tight fit around the bicep, or it won't fit at all, then you might need to do this adjustment on the patterns that you choose in the future, and it might be one that you always make for yourself. I'm going to show you how to do a full bicep adjustment on a short sleeve and on a longer sleeve. It's a good idea before you make any adjustments to your pattern to trace off your pattern piece, because if you cut it and then you try it and it doesn't work, then the more you cut into your pattern, the more it won't last very long. So trace it out onto a piece of paper so that you can make your adjustments. Before you measure yourself and your pattern for comparing, you need to also add the seam allowance, because we want to know what the finished garment measurements are going to be, not necessarily the pattern matching. And construction measurements. Seam allowance on this pattern is 1.5, so I'm going to add that all the way around. First thing to do is to now measure the sleeve openings finished measurements, which are in this case 33 centimeters, and we need to find the center line, because we're going to draw a line from the center through the sleeve. We're going to make our bicep measurement wider along the hemline, and also a little bit more fullness on the upper part of the arm. Once you've measured your pattern piece, you can then measure your own bicep and see how much you would like to add to give yourself either more ease or to enable the pattern to fit you. On this pattern, I'm going to add 2 centimeters. So either side of that center line, I'm going to add a centimetre. So 1 centimetre on one side of the line and 1 centimetre on the other. And now I'm going to take an extra wedge going up to the sleeve head, either side of that line. So I haven't changed any of this, because this is part of your construction to go on your front and back pieces, so you don't want to change that. You can't make these longer, which is sometimes tempting. Oh, I need a bit more in the sleeve, I'll just add some on there, because then your sleeve head won't fit. Some people sort of add a bit more onto there, thinking, well, that will give me a bit more, but it just gives you a sort of rucked up amount of fabric under your arm. So we want it to be on our bicep here. You take out that slice and you're going to make your sleeve a little bit wider. So you're going to move it along and open it out. So you can open this sleeve out now, and you use this little piece at the top as a hinge. Okay, so I've put a piece of brown paper underneath so that you can see what I'm doing. So if I put white underneath, you wouldn't see. So I've redrawn the centre line on. I've redrawn that marking that I just made. So now I want to take this side 1 centimetre. And so it will land here. And I would like to twist this side 1 centimetre and that will take me to here. If you're getting a little bit of a fold at the top and it's not lying quite flat, you just need to take your hinge up a little bit further. And you can take all the way down your new side. So my hemline should now be 33, add the 2 centimetres, it should be 35, and there it is. So now my hemline is 35, I've added some fullness in the fullest part and I've got a little bit extra room in the sleeve head, but nothing that affects the pattern piece along here. Right, I'm going to cut that out. But you do check when you're doing pattern adjustments that you haven't distorted anything else, and I can see that I need to true up the hem of this top, so I'm going to put my centre line of my ruler on the centre line of the hem and redraw the hem. I'll do it in a different colour so you can see. And this is called truing up your seam line. So you might have distorted some seam lines, so you need to put them back into their true position. Let's cut out the piece and see what it looks like. So we've got all of the markings, we've got our seam allowance, 2 notches for the back, the 1 notch for the front, the gather lines for easing stitches, the sleeve head point, the underarm notches. We've trued the hem and we've added 2 centimetres to the bicep hem, but also we've given ourselves some bicep fullness here, and that will go right up gradually to the sleeve head. And that's how you do a short sleeve bicep adjustment. The same principles apply that I've just shown you for the short sleeve adjustment, but we're going to mark out a long sleeve adjustment slightly differently. So this is a long sleeve vintage pattern. I've shown vintage ones because they've got all the markings on, which is helpful for us to see. So there's a lengthen and shorten line here, that's 2 lines close together. So at this point is where you would lengthen or shorten your sleeve. So do that before you make any bicep adjustment. Then trace around your pattern so that you've got your paper one for manipulating. Pattern's all traced out. There's the back notch, the front notch. This pattern has a elbow dart, which I want to leave in because I want to show you that you can still have all of those features even if you're making a full bicep adjustment. You also need to put the hem on this one as well. Make sure you keep your grain line, because when you manipulate the pattern you want to make sure that your adjustment that runs along the centre is parallel to your grain line. Don't forget to add your seam allowances because we're working from finished garment measurement to finished garment measurement. And the first thing we're going to do is to take a line from the bottom of the arm sike to the bottom of the other arm sike. And we're also going to take a line from the centre of our sleeve from top to bottom, because we want our adjustment to be central. We don't want to add all of the fullness on one side or the other. So around here is the fullest part of our bicep. Next, we're going to cut to the seam line on that cross that we've just made, but not through it. And not through the hem at the bottom. So we're leaving the hem intact, which is why you have your hemline marked. So now we've got some sort of movement that we can make with the pattern. If we try and move the pattern now, you can see we're getting it sort of flipping up, curling up. So we're going to make little hinge points by snipping through the seam allowance, but not all the way through. So you'll have tiny, tiny little bits of paper holding the pattern together. It splits through, you just have to put a little bit of tape on it, but try and get it so that your pattern can manipulate and the pieces will slide under and over each other rather than becoming distorted. I'm going to do it on brown paper so you can see what's going to go behind. Let's say we're going to make the 2 centimetre adjustment we made before. So I've drawn a centre line. That centre line is going to match up with the centre line on our sleeve. And if I'm adding 2 centimetres, then I'm going to add a centimetre either side of the centre line. I'm going to put this behind the sleeve and match up the centre line, and I'm going to spread the pattern at that widest point 1 centimetre on one side of the line and another centimetre on the other side of the line, and these points now can hinge over the top of each other. If it's not hinging, you need to just make your little hinge points a little bit finer. So we've added fullness here to the widest part that goes under our arm. We've got a little bit of extra bicep room running up to the sleeve head, and some extra room in the forearm. This is a 3/4 length sleeve, but you would do the same if it was a full length sleeve. And again, it hitches up the hem, so you would need to true up the hemline again like we did before. Can't quite show it on here because you'd have to put a piece of paper behind there. That's exactly the same technique as we did before. And take off any excess. And now you've added to your sleeve. And that's how you do a full bicep adjustment on a long sleeve. This adjustment works for woven fabrics or for stretch knits as well. So it's the same principles which would apply. I hope that's helped you, and please pop along for some more fitting tutorials soon. Thanks very much for watching.